Well, what a fun game. Obviously, we did not get off to a great start defensively and made a couple adjustments and got down 9, but our guys didn't flinch, just kept doing what we were asking them to do and trusting in the game plan, and just did it a little bit better in that stretch. But I thought our defense was terrific. Our transition, because of our defense, was electric. That's the biggest jump that we've made, those two areas, since we played this team 2 months ago. And obviously the 17 turnovers is not great, but we did a nice job sharing the ball with the 12 assists and just staying in attack mode against this group. And I just thought it was a game of discipline. They're so good at getting you spread out, playing off shot fakes, driving, getting it cooking. And I didn't think we left our feet at all on shot fakes. We were just incredibly disciplined at staying down, contesting shots, and rebounding. So really proud of our guys. It was a great effort against a good team. You can't look at the scores. You can't look at the records. It's a tough team right there. And they're a tough matchup, and I thought we answered the call tonight.
Talking about the defensive adjustments, obviously Tyrone, he ends with 20, but I think he had 3 or 4 of his threes in the first few minutes of the game. Like, what did you do specifically to try to kind of slow him down, or was it kind of just the law of averages taking over to
No, it wasn't the law of averages. It was, we were really doing a poor job in our 5-man ball screen coverage. We were too low, and he's what we call a high alert guy, and he can hit enough dribble threes to beat you, and that was something that we really emphasized. So we just our bigs weren't getting up there like we needed to. We were getting screened, and then we just said, all right, we're going to go to our switching coverage. And I thought we did a great job with that. I thought our bigs were really disciplined, staying down, and so we didn't give them any advantages with that. Gave up a couple offensive rebounds, and our guards didn't mix it up and finish for us. But that was the biggest adjustment. And then in the second half, we kind of went between the two different coverages, and we did our job significantly better at being high enough to touch the screen and impacting the ball and fighting over and squaring guys like him off. But that was the adjustment. It wasn't anything that we did special. It's something that we always go to, but we had to go to it a little bit earlier because we started off the game poor.
Asked Preston and Eddie about Kosei, but to be a guy who came here a little later and didn't know how much he was going to play, if at all, and wasn't playing a lot early, and then he steps onto the court, but he's not looking for his shot a lot early on, and then by the time you get to tonight, he's taking huge shots down the stretch and beating the shot clock and things like that. Can you just talk a little bit about his evolution into being as comfortable as he is right now?
I mean, it's all to do with his character. I mean, he is one of the toughest players I've ever coached, and I've got a long list of guys that Gardner or I would think are really tough players, and he's near the top of that list. And he's got just incredible humility. We were playing probably in November, December, and he had a bunch of DNPs where he wasn't playing, and I could just maybe for one day see a little bit of difference, rightfully so, that he had a little bit of frustration. So I remember we sat out here in the gym, the two of us, and he said, hey, man, I'm trying. He said, I'm used to playing. He's like, but I'll do whatever this team needs me to do. But it is an adjustment, Coach, to not play. But I got you. And I said, listen, you're going to help us win. I don't know when, I don't know how or what the role is going to be, but you just keep being who you are and being an everyday guy, and it'll happen, okay? Just trust me on that. I don't know when or how. And sure enough, that's exactly the way it works. And it's he's got talent without a doubt, but he has got toughness and humility. He's a team guy. You can trust him, with anything. And that's where it all comes from, and that's where his evolution comes from. And I'm just a firm believer good people become great players. And he's a great example of that.
Going off with Fowler, you've mentioned throughout the year, it's kind of like he's drinking water out of a fire hose.
Yeah.
To be able to kind of see all those maybe learning moments, be able to build into tonight, how big is it for him to have a performance like this at this juncture of the year with the current state of where this team is at? It's
huge. He's got so much talent, and it's hard. People don't realize, for freshmen especially, when they come to college, everybody's good. Everybody's got talent. And sometimes you throw so much at these young guys, they're like, are we even playing basketball anymore? And it takes time. It takes a little bit of time for that talent to be able to come through and to get his confidence going. And so he's going to be a terrific player. And it's big for him to be able to do that. And obviously stepping up, making free throws, getting 11 rebounds is incredible. And so I'm really proud of him. And both of our freshmen. I thought CB did a great job tonight as well. He had a great game defensively, a lot of things that don't show up on a stat sheet. But, he got a steal, got out in transition. He got a chance to swing on the rim. That's always fun. But, yeah, I'm proud of those two for sure.
I also had to ask Eddie in that first half on that one-handed alley-oop. I know you've got to be with Eddie for quite a while, even back to Morehead State. Where would that rank among all the dunks you've been able to see him have in a game?
That one's pretty good. Yeah, he's had a lot of them. You're right. We've also had a lot of them that have sailed out of bounds. They haven't ended as well. But that so I'm excited when we convert those. But Eddie had a lot of dunks tonight, right? He had the one. It was unbelievable right in front of our bench. Shot fake, drove. He Euro stepped a guy, and then it was go gadget arms. I have no idea how he dunked that, which was incredible. But yeah, man, I thought Eddie was unbelievable tonight. 5 assists. I thought he had more rebounds, but I think P. Fowler just took them from him right there in the middle of the both those guys flying around. But I thought Eddie played unbelievable tonight, and we certainly needed him to.
I guess just with that, was that bounce something you already knew kind of right off the bat when you first watched him, or is this something that's kind of developed over the years?
Oh, no, he could always jump, no doubt about it. Yeah, Eddie's always been a terrific athlete, and he's always been able to showcase that for sure.
Early on with Fowler, we knew he was a good three-point shooter because he showed it early. His numbers have gone down just a little bit here most recently, but has that helped him to open up, kind of forced him to other aspects of his game? How much has he expanded his game during this stretch?
A lot. He's driving the ball, he's getting to 2 feet, he's using his size, he's finishing, which is, same thing with Cliff, right? Obviously that was a big part of, has become a huge part of Cliff's game when he was just touted as an elite shooter. And so that's important for Preston because it's hard to get on the court when you're not making shots, especially as a freshman, because you have to impact the game in so many other ways, and he's proven that he can do that. He's gotten so much better defensively. He's rebounding the ball. Now he's driving it. I don't worry about him as a shooter at all. We've got to, just get his confidence going so that he knows when he's getting his shots and to take the right ones. But this kid can light it up. I promise you he can. So, but when people are closing out to him and he can go use his frame at 6'8" and finish, that's exciting, especially for what he's going to be able to give us in the future.
When you do finish the first half the way you did, that dunk and then the run out for Davis to give yourself a lead, that doesn't change anything at the locker room for you at that time, does it? When you go in at halftime, or does it?
Not really. No, I mean, I think guys were excited, but they know I'm pretty even keel. I'm going to come in and say, hey, good half, and let's talk about the good. Let's talk about what we got to do better. All the assistants, speak on those things. But yeah, especially the way we finished the half, we were happy with that. But yeah, that gave us some great momentum, and that's important because obviously we had a stretch where we weren't playing very well, and so that's an important key, finishing halves. We've talked about it a lot, and it's something that you practice. You don't have a lot of time on your feet and on the court to practice at this time of year, so it shows that we've really grown in that area because we did not finish the half well 2 months ago down at Georgia Southern. That was a huge difference, and we didn't finish the second half well. And that's ultimately why we got the loss. So it was nice for us to bounce back in those areas.
Work through us the first few minutes of that second half, though, because it was like everybody was rusty offensively.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 4-0 at that media timeout, Georgia Southern. Can you walk us through how you kind of work through that process?
Well, it was tough. Dave Riggert said that his mom sent him a text with a vomit emoji during that stretch, and I said, same. I can relate. Sometimes we throw the ball to the other team. It's amazing. And it helps your rebound numbers, right? We're plus we're plus 12 on the glass. That's a great number that you out-rebound a team, but it helps when you have 17 turnovers because they don't get a chance to rebound it. Imagine that. But it was, I don't know, man, we were forcing it. We were just poor with our execution. We were trying to get J-Mac the ball a couple times and kind of force-feeding some of that, over-penetrating. And, that's what they do. They turn teams over. That's the staple of their defense. And we kind of let that get to us a couple times at the beginning of the game and then the beginning of the second half. But once we settled in, I thought we were better.
J-Mac only got 2 points tonight. Can you also share with us what his usage tonight, what kind of influenced his game?
Yeah, we don't want him to ever settle, and not, it just didn't look like he was going to have a great game. Didn't seem like it was going to turn for us, and a lot of it we really wanted to exploit that mismatch because of their switching, and we were turning the ball over trying to do it. And so we kind of cut our losses with that and said, all right, let's attack in a different way. And then the other guys were playing really well, and so you just kind of roll with that. And so he'll bounce back, absolutely, without a doubt with it. And, he's such a dynamic player. And he's a great teammate. I mean, he was the greatest cheerleader over there on the bench here tonight. We could probably put a highlight video of him just cheering his teammates on tonight.
That can be just an example of, as you said a couple of weeks ago, this is a league of matchups many times, and that could be a case of where you've got a guy that's playing 20-plus minutes, just doesn't match up well that night.
Absolutely, yeah, and call it what it is. Georgia Southern knows he's one of the best players in the league, and they're going to spend a lot of time, on his actions, on his strengths, and trying to take him away and making sure that, he gets the attention that he needs. But, we found another way to win the game, and guys stepping up in kind of his absence is really important, especially this time of year.
Coach, with the turnaround that this team's been able to have this season, where would this rank as far as how much you've had to coach?
Oh, man. It should be like number one. Yeah, I feel like we do a lot of coaching, but that's what they pay us to do. It's what we love to do. But yeah, we've had a number of people sit on the bench or sit behind the bench with us throughout the year, and that's what they say. They say, wow, I never realized how much goes into this and how much coaching that you guys do. And I think this has been a group that they've we've had to make a lot of adjustments, and it was really, to be honest, I went back and I watched our Georgia Southern game. I couldn't believe it that we were playing that way versus where we are now. But that's part of the progression of a season. You kind of say, hey, we're going to punt this away, and it's not very good. We're going to change what we're doing. We're going to make adjustments, and we're going to find the best way for this team to play to find success, and that's kind of what we've done. But it does equate to a lot of coaching and a lot of scouting. Our staff does an incredible job with scouting the other opponents and finding commonalities and ways that we can take away their strengths.
So in that turnaround, would you say the biggest factor, because obviously there's a lot of factors, is it your tremendous coaching? Is it the rotation changes we've made? Is it the players gelling? What do you think is the biggest thing?
I feel like this was a setup. Listen, it's not tremendous coaching by any means. It's all these guys. I mean, just to be honest with you, they're all stepping up, and it's hard. It's really difficult when you're losing games, especially not just the young guys who haven't experienced it, but the older guys who have come from programs where they haven't won, and you're sitting there at 9-10. I don't know if that's where we were this year, and we're like, all right, we're getting better. This is good. Coach, we just lost our second, third game in a row. I know, but I don't always judge our performance by the final score. Trust me when I tell you we're getting better. This is the progression that we're on, and it's going to happen. It's going to take. But they believed that, and they bought into it, and they kept showing up every day. I couldn't tell you the last time we had a bad practice. I mean, these guys have just been so locked in, and their accountability's been incredibly high, and so coaching doesn't matter if those things aren't in place. And so that's really where it starts. That's the foundation. You got to give those guys all the credit. And I tell them all the time, I'll give you all the credit in a win, and I'll take all the blame in a loss. And as long as we keep doing this stuff like we're doing right now, hopefully I'll keep giving these guys all the credit.
The conference championship is obviously it's a little bit of a follow-up, but how much more confident are you in this team right now versus like a month and a half ago when the conference record wasn't as high and it wasn't clicking as much as it is right now?
Yeah, way more confident. I think they are too, right? Especially we got down 9. They didn't flinch. They didn't point fingers. They weren't upset. They said, all right, what do we need to do to flip this and get better? Because that's the progression that they've been on. That's the responses that they've made throughout the season. And so a lot of confidence. We've beaten most of the teams that are above us in the standings, or played well against them. So I like where we're at. I have no idea where we're at. I have not looked at the standings, I promise you, because we're just going to keep going one day at a time, and whatever that seed that gets us, whatever opportunity that affords us to play somebody else in Pensacola, we'll be confident and ready for it.
Coach, Pat Riley said he
Well, nobody. I don't look nearly as good as Pat Riley in a suit. Okay, and I'm not. I'm not going back to a suit. Okay, sorry, Pat. Big fan. He's a Kentucky guy, and I'm a Heat guy too. All right, but respectfully, I will decline that especially because I don't think there's a lavender suit out there, and this is a nice pullover right here.